Hey everyone, it's WiNGSPANTT, and if you're watching, you know what time it is. No, it's not time to vote on relief for Hurricane Sandy victims, it's time to bitch about Smoke Bomb. Now, if you've been following the Assassin's Creed 3 multiplayer community, you know that Squiddish and some other people have been making videos about smoke bombs. You may have seen them since pretty much everyone in the Assassin's Creed community has adopted one of these videos as the second coming of Jesus Christ for whatever reasons, whatever they believe in. But as you know, my name is WiNGSPANTT and I'm always right, so I decided I'm going to also jump into the debate with my 2, 3, 12, 15, 99 cents worth of ideas about this ability. Anyone who's been following me for a while can probably guess what I'm going to say, but I pretty much want to address most of Squiddish's complaints because I do appreciate the very reasoned and thoughtful manner they put together this video, but I also appreciate the fact that I believe most of his points were wrong. One of the first things that Squiddish points out about Smoke Bomb is that he feels that Smoke Bomb is a substitute for skill. Of course, I've always had a problem with measuring most things in Assassin's Creed multiplayer as skillful, since a lot of it just comes down to pressing X or B or one of the triggers at the right time. But still, that's not really the point of this video. He mentioned things like, if you use offensive Smoke Bomb, you weren't skilled enough to approach stealthily. Or maybe you used it offensively because you weren't skilled enough to get a focus, or you weren't skilled enough to get a naked stun on players. But my main problem with all of those arguments is simply that approaching stealthily, getting focus bonuses, and getting naked stuns doesn't work if they're good players. Good players will listen to whispers, and no matter how good you are, if you've got a disguise, if you're using glimmer, if you're approaching from the rooftops, if you hack the game, if good players hear the whispers, they're not going to stick around. They're not just going to stand there and wait for someone in disguise to walk up to them and poison them, or walk up to them and get a focus bonus on them. Good players pay attention. Good players will be using abilities, possibly like firecrackers and wipe, that even if they're not sure who their pursuer is, they're going to reveal you. Good players are going to put themselves in situations at the edge of the map that will prevent you from getting to them without exposing yourself. So I think that's one of the biggest fallacies, is to say that Smoke Bomb is a substitute for skill. There are plenty of situations in Assassin's Creed 3 where no matter how skillful you are, you will not be able to approach your target completely incognito, because even if they don't know who you are, they'll fly the coop. In addition to saying that Smoke Bomb doesn't take any skill, one of Squiddish's main problems with Smoke Bomb is that he feels there aren't adequate counters to Smoke Bomb. He does admit that there are counters that, for instance, Wipe and Animus Shield are in the game in part to directly counter Smoke Bomb. But he claims, for instance, that you have to use them preemptively on the off chance that they'll smoke you. You could always use the abilities and they weren't going to smoke you, or they don't even have Smoke Bomb. You know, he complains that Animus Shield's cooldown is too long, or that Wipe doesn't actually make them waste Smoke Bomb. That sure, it prevents them from using it, but they still have it on cooldown, or they still have it available once Wipe wears off. And of course, he also complains that Animus Shield gives too much warning. You know, I have a couple problems with this line of reasoning with saying that the counters to Smoke Bomb are bad. The first of which is that there are tons of other counters to Smoke Bomb. It's not just Wipe and Animus Shield. Those are hard counters to Smoke Bomb, but there are plenty of soft counters as well. You have Pistol and Poison Dart. They're two ranged abilities that kill someone far outside the range of Smoke Bomb. So if you see someone, if you think they might Smoke Bomb you, you always have the option to shoot them with Pistol or Poison Dart to kill them at range. And you can complain, well, I don't like Pistol or Poison Dart, but that's your problem. If you're going to now say you don't like 3 abilities in the entire game, you could make an endless list of abilities you don't like to use. I can't help you. If you don't like to use Animus Shield, Wipe, Pistol, or Poison Dart, you know, I'm sorry. At that point, I can't help you. You can also counter Smoke Bomb with a perfectly timed and perfectly spaced knives, and you can of course counter Smoke Bomb with Tripwire Bomb by having your Tripwire Bomb early and luring someone into it, because even if they plan to run up at you and use Smoke Bomb outside the range of Tripwire Bomb, once they move into the range of it and it triggers, they're going to be the ones who are coughing on smoke. Of course, I'm not going to claim the Tripwire Bomb is the greatest ability or anything, but I think Squiddish went too hard on it, and I think that if players want to be inventive and start looking at abilities and seeing how can I use this offensively and defensively, they'll see that there are plenty of counters to Smoke Bomb when it comes to different abilities. Of course, Smoke Bomb has a lot of natural counters as well. Counters such as terrain, using the Z-axis, getting higher than your opponent. All right. Distance. Smoke bomb has a very set distance. Yes, you can throw it, but in order to throw it, you have to go into a very obvious throw animation, and you have to actually hit the person with the thrown smoke bomb. So being outside of that distance prevents you from getting hit by smoke bomb. And of course, using distance to bait smoke bomb out, walking into perhaps the 4-meter range around someone will force them to drop smoke bomb, or force them to go into throw animation, at which point you can just run up and get an easy stun or kill. So basically, it's not just the abilities that counter smoke bomb, and there are more abilities than what Squiddish said. There are tons of ways to counter smoke bomb that just come from smart playing, smart positioning, and anticipating what your opponent's going to do based on their body language. You know, if you see someone, if you can tell that they've identified you as their pursuer, all right, because they're walking away from the crowd, they're getting out in an open area, guess what? They're about to try to smoke bomb you, and that's when you use things like height to your advantage, distance to your advantage, pistol to your advantage, all those things. One of the other problems I have with saying that the counter abilities to smoke bomb are bad, you know, Squiddish says, well, you use Animus Shield or Wipe, but you have to use them preemptively, and therefore they're really limited, is that it's a fallacy to say that these are counter abilities just to smoke bomb. Like, sure, Wipe, you know, and Animus Shield have to be used preemptively to smoke bomb, but they can also be used to stop all kinds of stuff. Wipe can stop tons of abilities, pretty much every ability in the game. Animus Shield can stop firecrackers, it can stop poison, Animus Shield can stop Animus Hack, Animus Shield can stop pistol and poison dart. So yes, equipping these things just to fight smoke bomb feels like a waste of time, but these abilities have uses outside of facing off smoke bomb, and to limit them in that way is basically to write off the entire point of the ability. Finally, I think that Squiddish really failed to mention the huge cooldown nerf of smoke bomb. Yes, he mentioned it. He did say the smoke bomb got a huge cooldown nerf, but he didn't actually talk about what the effect was in the game. And the effect is you can use smoke bomb a lot less than you could before. You know, in Assassin's Creed Revelations with some cooldown, things like that, you could be using smoke bomb like every 45, every 50 seconds, which was insane. Now with a cooldown of 100 seconds, yeah, you can get it down a little bit, all right? But with a base cooldown of 100 seconds, you can only use smoke bomb like 7 or 8 times in an entire match. You know, maybe you use it 7 times, you successfully, you know, get a stun or a kill out of it, maybe 5 out of those 7 times. So what does that get you, 1,000 points? You have to think about the opportunity cost of smoke bomb. If you equipped poison instead of smoke bomb, sure, you might only get a poison off 3 times in a match, all right? But if you get that poison off 3 times a match, you're going to get 900 points off it, which is basically the same as smoke bomb. If you use decoy and you can use it 14 times in a match, maybe people will only fall for it like 3 or 4 times. But if they fall for it 4 times, that's 4 lures for 400 points, plus the free stuns you get for another 800 points on top of that, 1,200 points. So you have to look at the opportunity cost that's afforded by the abilities. Not just, yes, smoke bomb's super strong when you use it, but you can't always use it, and even when you use it, you're not always going to use it successfully, and when you do use it successfully, you're not going to necessarily reap infinite points out of it. Speaking of the fact that smoke bomb is really versatile and there are a lot of times you want to use it, you know, Squiddish made a very good point. He said the balance isn't just, is it overpowered, is it counterable? He said, look at the fact everyone uses smoke bomb, therefore it's unbalanced. It's a really good argument. But I would like to say that that doesn't necessarily mean there's something wrong with the game. There's plenty of games where there are things that everyone does that there are technically options for that don't ruin the game. Does having the queen in chess ruin the game? The fact that there's this piece that's way better than the other pieces on the board? It just means that the queen has more value, that using it, it's more versatile, and that taking it out has more strategic value in the game of chess. Just the same way that countering smoke bomb now puts someone at a huge disadvantage because they have a 100-second cooldown. You know, the point after touchdown kick or the punt in football, you know, the point after touchdown kick is so overpowered, it's so unbalanced. No one ever goes for the 2-point conversion, but that's just saying that, you know, it's a safe ability, you know, it's a safe ability. Yes, it's the ability in football to kick for an extra point. It's very hard to counter. It's not really fun to play against. As the defending team, you really can't block it in most situations. You know, the same thing with a punt. In most situations, you get to 4th down, you punt. Alright? That doesn't mean that the punt is overpowered or unbalanced. It just means that in most situations the punt is the best play. But that means when players do something that's not the punt, it's more exciting. When they go for the crazy, when they're 4th and long and they go for it, that means the game gets more exciting. So having one predictable ability that's a little more versatile but still not strictly overpowered and still has counters doesn't automatically ruin the game. Anyway, I just want to say in summary, Smoke Bomb is definitely a good ability. It's really strong. It's really good at what it does, but it's not the invincible wall that Squiddish makes it out to be. It has counters, which include abilities, player skill, and of course its huge cooldown, which is a liability that almost nobody ever mentions. So I'd just like to say that now that I've settled the argument once and for all, I'm glad we can all agree to never ever debate about Smoke Bomb again. Instead, I think we as an Assassin's Creed community should move beyond Smoke Bomb and argue about important things, things that really ruin the game, like why is Connor so dumb? Anyway everyone, I'm WiNGSPANTT from TopTierTactics.com. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you'll come back next time for more Assassin's Creed 3. Cheers!